Doing today? It's your boy JJ Domination, and we are here with my Week 8 predictions for the NFL schedule. There are going to be some teams on a bye week, of course. I think Dallas is on a bye week. Baltimore's on a bye week. Here, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Alright, 15 matchups. That means two teams are on a bye. That will be Dallas and Baltimore, like we just talked about. So, of course, I'm 1-0 entering this week. Minnesota taking care of business against Washington in a low-scoring affair, a 19-9 victory. But let's go ahead and get on with the rest of this bad boy. So, let's just go ahead and lock this one in. It's my lock of the week. Seattle beating the Atlanta Falcons. I'm recording this one a little bit late than usual. I'm trying to get the injury reports and stuff, and it looks like Matt Ryan's not going to be playing. It'll be Matt Schaub under center. They just activated Danny Etling, who used to be on the Patriots as a quarterback / wide receiver. Now he's on the Falcons as a third-string quarterback. For Seattle, they're coming off a tough loss against the Baltimore Ravens. They'll be looking to get right in this game. I expect them to just run the ball downhill with Chris Carson and, maybe 20 or less passing attempts against the Atlanta Falcons defense. They got their whole little situation going on. Do they want to rebuild? Who's for sale? Who isn't? Apparently, they're taking phone calls for Austin Hooper, and they've even counter-offered a few things. So, Austin Hooper is on an expiring contract, looking to re-sign this summer, and they may not have the money to afford him, so that is interesting to hear. But the trade stuff, not going to get into it. Just Seahawks beating the Falcons. Buccaneers at Titans. I don't trust either team, but it'll be Jameis Winston facing Ryan Tannehill. Remember, Marcus Mariota is being benched. I don't know who to trust, but I think I'm going to take Tampa Bay to win this game against the Tennessee Titans. Tampa Bay is coming off of a bye week. I think they've tweaked some things in their offense, and their defense is the #1 run defense, surprisingly. And they'll be going up against Derrick Henry, who has been pretty solid this year. He's been pretty good, but I think just like Tampa Bay has been able to do it, Christian McCaffrey, they will neutralize him, and, that'll be that. Cardinals versus Saints. Big thing to note here is Drew Brees is coming back into the lineup. It's been the Teddy Bridgewater show. He's 5-0 as a starter. The defense has played well, and the run game has been pretty good as well. Drew Brees is coming back in front of the home crowd, and that's a good thing for Drew Brees. Remember, the injury timetable was 4 to 6 weeks. He said he'd come back when he felt like he was 100%, and this is the 5th week of his recovery process, and boom, he is back on the field. Alvin Kamara is still questionable as of recording this, but regardless, I have the Saints winning. The Arizona Cardinals have been streaking, though, 3 consecutive wins. I just don't think their defense can compete with the Saints offense, and I think Dennis Allen, the Saints defensive coordinator, is going to throw a lot of different looks at Kyle Murray and this Cliff Kingsbury offense, and I think they won't be able to recover. They'll be able to get some points later on in the game. I just don't think they'll be able to recover. Bengals at Rams. This game is in London. I do think there'll be a little bit of a London factor in this game. However, it's not going to decide the outcome. I'm going to be going with the Los Angeles Rams to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. I think early on this could be very interesting. You have the teacher versus student aspect going with Sean McVay as the Rams head coach versus Zach Taylor as the Cincinnati Bengals head coach. Zach Taylor used to be the quarterback coach for Jared Goff for the Los Angeles Rams. And I think early on they'll try to rattle Jared Goff. I think early on the Bengals could get out to a lead, but I think eventually the Rams pull away. Jets at Jaguars. The Jets, this is a great opportunity for them to get right, and I think they're going to do that. I think this is a perfect opportunity for the New York Jets to get right, adjust, and do some things differently. I mean, Gardner Minshew could do his little thing at home, but I think the secret's out. He has not had the greatest completion percentages over the past 2 or 3 weeks. A little bit shaky overall on offense. It's basically been the Leonard Fournette show starring DJ Chark and a little bit of Dede Westbrook. I think if they can find consistency in both the run and the pass game, they could beat the Jets, but I think the Jets are going to bounce back in a big way this week. I think this is their rebound game. against Jacksonville. Call it an upset, I guess. I'm going to go with Philadelphia beating the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills have been very good this year. And it's a similar thing with a few other teams, like, oh, they haven't faced anyone, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, like, I hear that a lot, I get that. But, I feel you just have to play who's in front of you. Like, we all bitch about the Patriots schedule and, oh, they haven't played anyone. Well, they don't make the schedules, okay? They don't. Like, believe it or not, these teams don't make the schedules. The Bills' defense is legit, though. That's one thing I can say. But I think Philadelphia needs a bounce-back week. And I'm going to pick them to upset the Buffalo Bills. I think it's a good matchup for them defensively because the Bills aren't the most vertical passing offense. They like to run the football and just give Josh Allen easier situations. I think the Eagles can rattle the run game. They've actually been pretty solid in the run game. So it'll be interesting to watch this matchup. I do think Philadelphia has what it takes to beat Buffalo, and they're going to be my upset of the week. The Chargers at Bears. I'm going to go with Chicago here against the Chargers. The Bears need a bounce-back game. I don't think this is a career-defining game for Mitchell Trubisky, and I don't think this is a season-defining game for the Chicago Bears, but I do think it's a must-win. You got to take a look around their division. Green Bay is 6-1. They don't really look like they're going to slow down, but you never know. Minnesota, they've been rolling over the last month. They don't look like they're going to slow down, but remember, you never know. And then you have the Detroit Lions, who are a tough out no matter who they face. They're going to play the hardest they can possibly play against you. So for the Bears, who have the worst quarterback in the division, the worst starting quarterback, and they really haven't been running the football that well, I think they need to get back to the basics. Run the football, have Mitchell Trubisky take a few shots on play action, just get his confidence going, man. I mean, I've ripped the Chicago Bears enough with the whole quarterback thing, but if you want to try to salvage this season, you need to run the football, and against the Chargers, it'll be a good week to do that, and at home. Maybe the Bears fans will rally around you, I don't know. Giants at Lions. A very intriguing matchup. I am going to go with Detroit for the win. The Giants, I think, have a pretty good shot of beating them. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, but I think Detroit's going to pull it out at home. Now, there's no Kerryon Johnson. That's something to keep in mind. It'll be rookie Ty Johnson getting a lot of the work. J.D. McKissick, I expect to see some touches as well, some high usage rate for him out of the backfield as well. And I think it's going to come down to the passing offense versus the Giants secondary. I think if Matthew Stafford just goes out there, slings the ball, and plays a pretty good game, I think they could beat him. I think this Lions defense will try their best to rattle Daniel Jones. And this is a poor man's Patriot defense ran by Matt Patricia. Maybe they'll throw similar looks out there against Daniel Jones to try to rattle him. But I will go with Detroit at home. Raiders at Texans. I'm pretty sure this game has been flexed at 425. But either way, I am going to go with the Houston Texans. Oakland played pretty well on offense last week against Green Bay. A couple of little mental errors in that game from Derek Carr. But I feel like overall they played well. I didn't think Derek Carr played too bad. The interception was more of a good play by Kevin King than really just him being stupid. The fumble, yeah, that's stupid. But overall, I think Oakland offensively has something good there, and they should be getting back, or they should be activating Zay Jones. I don't know if Tyrell Williams is going to play or not, but I think Josh Jacobs is questionable with the shoulder injury that he sustained in the Green Bay game, but he did come back and finish and played well. So I think he will play. However, I think Houston and stopping Deshaun Watson is going to be tough. If you were impressed by what Aaron Rodgers did, I think Deshaun Watson is going to put up a hell of a performance against the Oakland Raider defense. This may be the toughest game to predict, for this week, but Panthers at 49ers. You have Kyle Allen, who is undefeated as a starter in his career as an undrafted quarterback, and then you have the 49ers, who are simply undefeated. They really haven't played the stiffest of the competition, but remember, you got to play who's in front of you. I'm not going to bash you for taking care of business, but for Carolina, they've played some pretty good competition. And who knows? Maybe if Cam wasn't struggling against the Rams, that's a game that they win. You got to think the 2 games that they lost have been 6 points or less, so it's not like they got blown out or anything. But looking at this game against San Francisco, they are at home. We know they like to run the football, but Ron Rivera's defense is going to be pretty good. I think it comes down to San Francisco. Can they get home against Carolina? Carolina's offensive line, they've been shuffling dudes around and trying to figure this whole thing out. And the receivers, they got some really quick receivers, a couple of fast guys as well, and you also have Christian McCaffrey. It's going to be a very interesting matchup, a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, but I think I'm going to give the edge to San Francisco. I'm not going to bet on this game. I don't really bet on games anyway, but if you are a betting man or woman, don't put any money on this game. I have no idea who's going to win. Browns at Patriots. Cleveland coming off a bye week after a disappointing loss to the Seattle Seahawks that Baker Mayfield will tell you it's the ref's fault. And the Patriots coming off a dominant AFC East matchup against the New York Jets, 33-0. The game where Sam Darnold saw a ghost. Will Cleveland's Baker Mayfield be seeing ghost, or did he wake up feeling dangerous? That's the big question going around. I don't think he'll see ghost, but I don't think he's going to see a W in his near future either. I have the New England Patriots picking up the win. If this game were in Cleveland, I think I would give Cleveland a legitimate chance to win this game. But with it being in Foxborough, with the addition of Mohamed Sanu, it's just going to be harder now. Cleveland is getting back Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams, 2 corners they did not have throughout this slump of a season, since week 1, I believe, or week 2. So that's huge. You're getting 2 big additions back to your defense, a rookie that was balling out and playing well, and Denzel Ward, who was one of the future stars at the cornerback position last year as a rookie. So huge implications there for Cleveland's secondary. However, I think the Patriots will do what they need to do to win. The Browns have the talent, but will they have the game plan and the execution necessary to beat New England? I don't think so. I'll take New England to win. Broncos at Colts. This game is going to be flexed at 1 o'clock. So it doesn't matter. This is just how it's listed. I will be going with the Indianapolis Colts. I like Denver's chances in this game. They are coming off of a 10-day rest, where they lost horribly against the Colts. But I think the Broncos are kind of back in the gutter again. They had a tough loss against Kansas City, and they got outscored by Matt Moore when he entered the game, which is a bad sign for Denver. But I think the Colts are just going to take care of business, continue to execute. It could be like a 17-13 type of game. Overall, I do think the Colts will take care of business. Packers at Chiefs. You know me, I don't pick against my Green Bay Packers, but there's a couple of things to note here. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes will not be playing. Number 2, some other key injuries. Frank Clark won't be playing. I think let me see. I'm trying to think of who else isn't playing. Frank Clark's not playing. Kendall Fuller's not playing. I think there's an offensive lineman that's out. And there's somebody else who I'm not thinking of. Chris Jones, the defensive tackle. So the Chiefs are coming in here with a lot of injuries. However, they are at home. They will have the home crowd behind them. And I think a simple game plan for Matt Moore is all that needs to be implemented. However, I do think the Packers will send some pressure early and try to rattle Matt Moore. Jair's going to have to do a good job against Tyreek Hill. That's all I could say. For Green Bay, it looks like Devontae Adams will not be playing, but it does look like Darnell Savage has a good chance of returning, which is huge at the free safety position. But Blake Martinez is questionable with a wrist injury. He may not play. I don't think it'll be the biggest worry in the world if he doesn't play, but it is going to be hard to cover Travis Kelce. That may be the Adrian Amos assignment, but we'll see. I'm not picking against my Packers. That's all I could say. Dolphins at Steelers. I do give the Dolphins a legitimate shot, even though it's in Pittsburgh. But because it's in Pittsburgh, I gotta go with the Steelers. If the Steelers lose to the Dolphins, Lord, things are not looking good. But the Steelers, didn't they have a bye week last week? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and previously they had beaten the Chargers in what basically was a home game for them, even though they were the traveling team. Miami, they're playing hard. They've been competitive, but they're not winning games. It's kind of their thing. It's like they're trying to tank, but they don't want to make it completely seem like they're tanking. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be playing. Maybe we do get a little Fitz magic in this game, but I think Pittsburgh ends up winning. So these are my predictions. I'll go back and go through them. The lock of the week is Seattle beating the Atlanta Falcons. I do have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning, the New Orleans Saints taking care of business, the Los Angeles Rams winning a big game in London, or not really a big game, but a big game in, kind of. I have the New York Jets bouncing back, beating Jacksonville. I have the Philadelphia Eagles as my upset of the week, beating the Buffalo Bills. I have the Chicago Bears getting things right at home. I have the Detroit Lions bouncing back at home. I have the Houston Texans taking care of business against Oakland at home. I have San Francisco edging out the Carolina Panthers at home. I have the New England Patriots taking out the very talented Cleveland Browns at home. I have the Indianapolis Colts taking care of business against Denver. I have Green Bay going into Arrowhead and beating Kansas City. And I have Pittsburgh taking care of Miami. So those are my predictions. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and peace out.